Hi everybody, this is David from Beagle Home Inspections. Hope everybody's doing okay. In today's video, we're going to continue on the series on common issues found during a home inspection. And today we're going to talk about the ventilation system. The ventilation system actually is composed of three parts. One, it is the attic, the crawl space, and then the third part is laundry rooms, bathrooms, and kitchens. The main purpose for ventilation is to keep moisture away from that one of those specific areas. So we need to move the moisture from where it is to the outside of the house. That's the main issue. So what we're going to do, let's go up to the attic and take a look and see what's going on up there. Most attics have what we call a passive system. That means there's no fans with the motor on that are regulated. You do see them, but it's kind of rare. Mostly, like I said, it's passive. So basically the idea is air comes in from somewhere down on the low part and it exits the high part. Heated air rises, so it just sucks air in from the bottom, pushes it out the top. The air that comes in the bottom is almost always through what we call soffit vents. That is, if you step outside your house, look under the eaves and you'll see some grating, some holes in there. That's the soffit. That's where the vents are. So the cool air comes in through there, and then how it leaves is by one of three different ways, or a combination. It can leave through gable vents, which when you see the pitch of your roof like here, then there's a vent right in the middle of that, up towards the top of that pitch. Then that opens up to the outside. Or you can do what we call ridgeline vents, and these are vents that are along the ridgeline just below it. Or you can actually have a ridge vent, which is the very peak of the house, and there's a hole basically that runs the length of that. So it's a really pretty simple system. Cool air comes in the bottom, hot air moves out the top, and as it's moving out, it drags the moisture with it. The issues that I see are that somehow one of those openings is plugged up. Mostly it's in the soffit vents, like insulation can fall on it. Birds or rodents and stuff can build nests and get debris in there. So the big issue is the hole is not open to let air move through it. A really cool thing that builders are doing now is they put in baffles near the soffit vents along the rafters. And this it creates an open airspace for the air to move in from the soffit vents up into the attic and helps prevent insulation and things like that from getting on it. So it's a really cool idea that builders are doing now. That's about it for the attic. It's basically straightforward. In the crawl space, again, it's basically straightforward. Like the attic, it has to have some holes on opposite sides of the crawl space, and they have to be open and let air move through it. In the crawl space, though, it's not so much cool air moving in through the bottom and going out the top because all the holes are on the same level. What it really amounts to is any warm air is going to come out, and there's a little circulation done by that. But again, maybe air moving from a high pressure to a lower pressure, so the actual air movement is going through there and pulling out moisture. Again, it's very simple. And the thing is, do you have enough holes to compensate for how big an area your crawl space is? The most common issues I find are somehow the holes are plugged up. Insulation is a big problem, that it falls down from the roof or somebody put it in wrong, that's plugging up the hole so air can't move in and out. The other thing is vegetation planted around the edge of the house. Sometimes the bushes or grass or flowers and that kind of stuff are up against it, so good airflow doesn't happen, or the bushes are there not impeding it, but leaves and sticks and stuff like that fall down, get piled up against the ventilation hole, and air can't move through. Those are the biggest issues I see. And again, it's very simple. Are the holes there, and are they open and able to let air move through? Now the third part, now like I said, it's in three different places. So we'll talk about bathrooms first. Here in Colorado along the Front Range, it is not required to have a bathroom is not required to have a fan in it if the bathroom has a window. And the ventilation system in that scenario is very similar to the attic. Let's say you're taking a shower, you're producing a lot of warm, moist air. You open the window, air gets sucked in from underneath the door, the gap that's by the floor of the door. Cooler air comes in through there, and it exits out through the window. That's how they get the ventilation system done. You also have to remember ventilation systems, either that passive like that or with a fan in the bathroom, is designed to move moist air not stink, just so you know. Now, in a bathroom that doesn't have a window, it is required to have a fan in there to get that moisture out of there. And it has to terminate outside of the house. So it has to go straight up through your ceiling, through the attic, and out through the roof. Or if they can mount it on the side wall, which is done every once in a while, it just blows it from the bathroom right out to the outside of the house. It cannot terminate in the attic, because what that does is you're taking all that moist air from the bathroom, putting it in the attic, and if the attic isn't well ventilated and not moving air like it should, then you have moisture problems, which can lead to mold and decay. You don't want that. The next area is the laundry room. Most laundry rooms that are open to other areas of the house, don't have a door on it, do not have a vent fan in them. And a while ago, over 5 years ago and beyond that, you hardly ever saw a fan in a laundry room, even if it had a door and was closed. It just wasn't done that much, because most of the doors are open and it's vented to the house. So now they're beginning to, any laundry room that has a door, they're starting to put fans in those. But again, it has to be vented to the outside of the house, not to the attic. And it's really simple. The fan works or it doesn't. I mean, it's not much to that. The next area is the kitchen. And this is the fan that's above your stove. If here in Colorado, if your stove is on an inside wall, I almost never see a vent fan on it that pushes air to the outside of the house. It's actually very rare to see that. What it uses is most of the time a recirculating fan, and most of the time people have their microwave right above the stove, so the air gets sucked up to the bottom of the microwave, gets pushed out the top. There are filters there, so make sure those stay clean. The filters are not designed to stop moisture or smell. They're just designed to help catch grease, so grease doesn't get floating in your house or hit up against the ceiling or something like that. So make sure those filters get cleaned. If your stove is mounted on an outside wall, most of the time I see a vent going right straight through the wall to the outside. And that one does have a lot of times have a grease filter on them, but it pulls out. And what it does, it pulls out smell and it can pull out moisture. The other thing I see a lot of times too is if you have a gas stove, they almost always have a vent somewhere, a vent associated with that stove. So the ventilation system is pretty simple. One is designed to move moisture from inside your house to outside. That's the main function of it. And it's really simple. Either the holes are there and it's working, or they're not. So it's pretty simple system to see. And like I said, most of the time in attics and crawl spaces, it's on a passive motion. So that's about it for the ventilation system. If you have any questions, you can email me at david@beaglehomeinspections.com. Or if you want to check out my website, that's www.beaglehomeinspections.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And with that said, I'll see you next time.